Hey, good evening. This is a foreigner in the Philippines. So, a few of the comments that we had, I'd like to answer them quickly. We're going to be away tomorrow and may not get to a computer, or may not get online. We'll do our best to get some videos out and everything, but my usual way of dealing with some comments may not be possible. So I picked out a few that I thought should be addressed. Now, one is that very often for the work that we do, that we are empowered by our subscribers who send us gifts, and by doing so they empower us, they give us the power to do the work that we manage to do. And it's a team effort. It's not just Beth and I. We have the full cooperation of the Superman team, and it's a family affair. But what I really wanted to acknowledge, excuse me, was when people say, "Well done, Terence." Well, it's really not just about Terence. We started this channel just over a year ago, and everything that we've achieved as a we. That is Beth and I. Now, a lot of expat channels have husband and wife teams, girlfriend and boyfriend teams, and they do it very well, and they have a way of pulling it off where it's not quite equal, but it worked for them. It never worked for me or for Beth, because we have an equal partnership. It's equal in say, it's equal in decisions. We talk over our ideas for what should happen. Sometimes my ideas will be put forward, and sometimes it will be Beth's. Sometimes I'll agree with something that Beth wants to do, and sometimes I won't, and vice versa. So it's equal, and we acknowledge that as in our both. So if somebody acknowledges Beth as doing a great job, I take some of that for myself. And if someone acknowledges me as if it's just me, then Beth also takes a win on that as well. Sorry, still got a little bit of a cough, but anyway. So that's that dealt with. It's equal. It's me and her and me, all the way down the line. And I'm happy that it is that way. Everything I do for her anyway. Everybody knows, of course, when you have to look at us, look at me, look at her, to know that there is a great age difference. And I am certainly at that age where not being around is something of a reality. And Beth and I have talked about this, and we face it, and sometimes it's easy and sometimes it's not. Fortunately, I am in incredible health, and I'm grateful for that. Now, sometimes Beth might feel the difference more than others, and will say to me, "Stay long," or "Don't go," or "Stay with me," or "Don't leave me." And it's not talking about me walking out the door, okay? It's me being, not to put too fine a point on it, but me being carried out the door, okay? So we acknowledge this, we know it's a reality, and we face it, and, well, we deal with it. So, it's me and Beth and me. Now, what's the other thing? The blind man, and a couple of people said, how will he find his way around that new house? Because even though he lived in something of a hovel before, with the rain pouring in the roof, and it really did, how's he going to find his way around this house? Well, I would say with practice. He'll be led around, and he'll take so many steps this way and so many steps that way, and then he'll soon find out that if he comes out of his room where his bed is and he turns right, that's where the cooking area is, and if he turns left, then that takes him to where his nephew is and his nephew's family. And you may have seen on the video a little girl in the photograph that we took of him with me and the Superman team. You saw that he held a staff, and that staff, the little girl, who looked about 2 years old to me, takes the end of that and she guides him from one house to another. And when he was in his old house, in order to get to the area where he did his own cooking, there was a rope stretched about eye level, and he would hold that rope, and at the end of that rope he knew that his cooking facilities were. So actually his new house is going to be a blessing in many, many ways, and he will soon find his way around. So I should acknowledge here as well Manning Tita, who has pledged and sent the first 1,000 pesos, which we were able to buy rice and provisions for him into his new house, and has pledged to send 1,000 pesos a month. It's not a huge amount, but in dollars, but here, wow, yeah, it's a good thing for him to have, and it's yet another thing for a lady who is not super rich, and it's a commitment for her, and she readily accepts that and has done on other projects in the past. And we thank you, Tita. You are an angel. What's the next? The kids that were working on the boat, that we went to the other island, and there were 2 small kids and a young man who, I don't know, looked about 14 to me, so probably high school, and they were in command of the boat, the captain and his crew, and they did it very well. Someone offered the opinion that perhaps those kids don't go to school at all. I would beg to differ on that. I think that they would have been going to school. They were bright, intelligent, did what they had to do, and I think that was a part-time job. And what a great job that was. It was such an adventure, such a pleasure for us, and it was great for them, I believe. And of course we made sure that they got some gifts as well as a good tip. So Baby Jane and a concerned subscriber wrote and said, I wonder if any of the crutches or sticks or canes would help her. Well, now I did think about doing this, where it would have been quite simple for me to make some crutches out for Baby Jane while she's got that cast on, and I'll tell you why I didn't. I was afraid of her falling, and we all know where that would have gone. She has osteogenesis imperfecta, and that is, I only recently found out, is a fault in the bones. They are just not strong, and throughout her life, getting slightly less as she gets older, she is fated to have many fractures. This is just one. She already had another, and tell you the truth, when I was there and she was sitting next to me in the truck, I pick her up at her home, and I carry her and I put her into the truck, and it seemed to me her right leg from the knee down has had a break, and you can feel it. It's the line of the leg is not right. There's a swelling, and it felt to me the same way above the knee. So I think that she's had a few breaks. So we're going around, we keep an eye on her. She'll be having the cast off next week, so she'll be getting back to normal, going to school again, and hopefully she'll stay off the skipping ropes, which is sadly what led to the break that she has right now. So we'll continue to support her through Patch, another one of our incredibly generous subscribers who supports baby Jane with extra vitamins, calcium, and vitamin D, all of the extra nutrients that she needs, and milk. And he also, there's enough there when he does send money, there's enough there to get some rice for the family as a whole. Plus, of course, there are other children, and they share. They share with the vitamins that we take. It's in the form of a syrup, which kids actually would like the taste of, so it's not hard to get them all to do it. There are 2 other children. So, transparency in our accounting. My feeling is that being trusted means that you freely, willingly show that you are trustworthy. And we believe that without being asked, without it being demanded of us, we believe that every penny that we receive should be accounted for. Now, how does anybody know that anybody who is sitting there and not donating or sending a gift and feels, well, wait a minute, this seems a bit fishy to us, you know? Well, how do we know? It actually is painfully simple. Anybody who sends money to us, let's say that Mrs. A sends 10,000 pesos. Well, the 10,000 pesos breaks down into, let's say, $200. Now, we acknowledge that. We say, we just had a gift from Mrs. A of 20,000 pesos, or 10,000 pesos, what did I say? 10,000. And Mrs. A then knows that that's what the exchange rate was for her $200. Now, what do we do with that? Well, we always ask when we take a gift from someone, say what you want it for. So if you've seen something, like we just said, Patch has said that he cares very much about what's happening with baby Jane. So he tells us, I would like you to take the money that I'm giving you, and I would like you to buy this. And that's what we do. And then we show a receipt, usually, and we justify what we have been given by showing what we have spent. Okay, so in other words, we don't get sent $200, spend $50 and put the rest in our pocket. How do you know? We show what we've spent the money on. Plus, there are other expenses that we go through that we meet from our Patreon fund, which is freely sent by subscribers who have been following our channel and want to help us with our day-to-day expenses. We don't actually get to acknowledge personally, but we do know the people that sent to us, and we are eternally grateful, and that money is very, very well spent, believe me. So that's for our transparency. Plus, when Beth does an accounting for any one of the projects, which we do for every one of the projects, you know what's gone on. Education allowance. Now, a lot of people, and I am one of them, are a little bit, feel a little bit upset that there are kids that are there that are not getting the allowance because we simply haven't received enough money in the budget for that to be able to do it. Now, it's known, the known figure for what we give for the allowance is 400 pesos. And for those who send money, what they do is they say, I would like to support 4 children, 6 children, 10 children. And then they work out, well, 10 times 400, 4,000 pesos. 4,000 pesos is, off the top of my head, about $70. And they know what they send, and they know what is being given out. Very simple. Somebody asked, and I'll close on this, somebody asked for the exchange rate. It depends where you go, how you send the money. If you send it through Western Union, it can be one exchange rate. If you send it to MoneyGram, it can be another. If you go to the bank, as we do if we get it through PayPal, then it can be a totally different one. But at the moment, I believe it's in excess of 51 pesos to the American dollar. A little bit less for the Australian dollar, and I think a little less for the Canadian dollar. You can work it out from there. Okay, so thanks for looking in. I hope this answers those who have sent in a comment which they feel deserved an answer. If you didn't get an answer to your comment or your message, if you sent a message, I will get round to answering that. Okay. Thanks for looking in. We're off to Tagbilaran tomorrow for a couple of days. Not quite a couple of days. We're going to go Friday and Saturday, and then very early morning on Sunday we got to get back to church because we got duties there. My Sunday driving job awaits me, and Beth takes the kids on the I guess what you would call Sunday school. Thanks for looking in, and bye for now. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe. It helps.